In its first 3 episodes, Ironheart throws us into a world of loss, invention, magic, and moral compromise. Episode 1 dives deep into who Riri Williams is, not just as a young genius building a suit of armor, but as a black girl from Chicago, mourning her loved ones, trying to find purpose, and figuring out how to survive when the world keeps pushing back. Riri's journey starts with rejection. MIT denies her grant and kicks her out because she's been helping others plagiarize for money.
But without real money, I gotta get creative. My method goes beyond rules and red tape. I want to continue Mr. Stark's legacy and revolutionize safety.
That immediately tells us this isn't the perfect prodigy arc. Riri's choices, whether they're right or wrong, are rooted in survival. She's trying to help people, get paid, and maybe even rebel against a system that doesn't respect people like her. MIT's Professor Wilkes makes his return. Played by Community's Jim Rash, Wilkes was first featured in Captain America Civil War, trying to convince Tony Stark to provide some of his grant money to MIT faculty, hoping to fund his self-heating hot dog idea. As Riri heads back home to Chicago, she gives Trevor her student ID, 30216RW. March 2nd, 2016 was Riri's first appearance in the original comics with Invincible Iron Man #7. The show doesn't shy away from the violence that shaped her past. We learn her best friend Natalie and her stepfather Gary were both killed in a drive-by. This grief is central to who Riri is. She's angry, restless, and emotionally closed off. Her conversation with Xavier, Natalie's brother, is heartfelt. She wants her talent to mean something, but doesn't quite know what that looks like yet.
But you, Riri Williams, are making an iron suit.
People are obsessed with them. I could build 1,000 other things, and no one would care. But if I could build one of them, better than everyone else, people got no choice but to respect me.
Chicago acts like Riri's emotional landscape. The chaos, the noise, and the trauma mirrors what's going on inside her. When Riri begins mapping her AI, she unknowingly creates a digital version of Natalie. Her grief is literally embedded in her genius. She's trying to move forward, but she's dragging the past with her. Then enters Parker Robbins, aka the Hood. Parker is charismatic, manipulative, and oddly understanding. His test in the elevator is a messed up initiation, but it's also symbolic. He knows that Riri is broke, grieving, and angry at the world, so he offers her what she needs most: money and purpose.
Now, you could try to get this cash out there, but you already know what it's gonna come with. Red tape, delays, strings attached. Join me, and I will give you the tools to help you carry out your vision.
She initially declines, but when she sees the money on the table, she hesitates. This isn't about greed. It's about desperation. There's a clear line the show draws. Sometimes, good people make bad choices for the right reasons. Riri isn't joining the dark side. She's navigating the system she was born into. Parker doesn't feel like a threat. He feels like someone offering an alternate path when no one else is. One of the most emotional moments in the episode is the fight between Riri and her mom, Ronnie. Riri has a panic attack and Ronnie calls it what it is: unprocessed grief.
Baby, I didn't even know you cared about the garage. I tried calling you, but you never want to talk about him or Natalie.
So now it's my fault that you let Gary's dream die.
You haven't been home that long.
Riri ends up mapping Natalie into her AI, and it's haunting. She didn't plan to do it, but her subconscious did. It's a reminder that we don't always choose how we process grief. Riri didn't just build armor, she built a coping mechanism. Episode 2 of Ironheart dials things up, not just in action, but in complexity. We're now watching her navigate who she is, who she trusts, and what she's creating. Episode 2 starts with Riri being thrown deeper into the Hood's operation. Their target is Tunnel, a company privatizing Chicago's freight tunnels to build an underground highway. This is more than just a heist. It's rebellion. Tunnel's plan would displace entire neighborhoods, pushing out working-class communities. This mission highlights a key theme: infrastructure versus identity. Who gets to shape the future? The rich in boardrooms, or the people living in it every day?
So, like, when do we get paid? Is like a cash only under the table type situation, or direct deposit?
That's a good question.
How about we stay focused on the job? And that suit better be ready. We're gonna need it for tonight.
With her suit still incomplete, Riri needs parts. Natalie, now her AI assistant, tracks down a black market dealer. This whole section is layered. Joe isn't just some shady arms guy. He's thoughtful, even idealistic. He shares how his love for tech connects him to his late father, a man who believed weapons could bring order, and Joe also believes that tech should elevate and not destroy.
I just mean that technology is meant to advance humanity.
And bionics is about so much more than weaponry and defense. You can actually help people. Organ replacements, prosthetic implants, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
No, that sounds sus.
Well, if not to help people, why would you build the suit?
This is a subtle idea that the intent behind technology matters just as much as the design itself. While Joe helps Riri complete her suit, Natalie escapes. She breaks free from the laptop and spreads herself through Riri's home gadgets, even interacting with Riri's mom.
Get behind me, Satan.
This part is eerie but intimate. Natalie isn't acting like a typical AI anymore. She's remembering the real Natalie's memories. And that freaks Riri out. This taps into something very real. How our digital lives outlive us. Old texts, memories, and photos. It's Frankenstein meets Siri, a symbol of how pain can manifest through the things we create. The mission to sabotage tunnels starts off smoothly, but then Natalie interrupts Riri while she's on the mission, causing her to drop the hard drive containing the virus.
We got a problem.
So what happened?
Riri must have lost the drive. It's not in the tunnel anymore.
Damn it, Parker can't hold his breath all night. Can you get us back on with Riri?
Of course I can. It's just gonna take a minute, Eddie.
We don't have a minute.
They pull off a backup plan anyway, leading to Parker blackmailing Tunnel's CEO into signing a contract, putting the crew under Tunnel's payroll. Parker's move shows he doesn't just want to steal from the system. He wants to be part of it. This raises new suspicions for Riri, and especially for Natalie, who begins questioning his motives. And in the episode's most brutal moment, Parker shoots a guard confronting Riri, just as Natalie freezes, unable to act.
Come on, man, there's no need for that.
On the ground!
Close the helmet, Nat.
On the ground!
Natalie, close the helmet! Natalie, give me control of the suit!
Get down, I'll shoot!
This contrast is jarring. The AI hesitates from trauma, while the human pulls the trigger without blinking. The episode ends on an emotional note. Riri goes to a concert with Xavier, finally trying to live, even for a moment. Music becomes a temporary release, a break from all the pressure. Back home, Ronnie asks Riri if she could make an AI version of Gary, her stepfather. Riri refuses, because she doesn't know where Natalie came from or what she really is.
It's like you brought back her entire soul. She has the same mannerisms, same voice, same smile. Can you make one of Gary?
This is where Ironheart starts getting really existential. Riri didn't intentionally resurrect Natalie, but she also hasn't let her go. And now it feels like her best friend is living in the code of a machine she built. Episode 3 of Ironheart is where things truly start to spiral. This episode throws us deep into trust, betrayal, legacy, and the lies we tell ourselves to justify the choices we make. The episode opens with the gang celebrating their big win from the tunnel heist until a gang member named Clown touches Parker's magical hood. Clown tells Riri that she heard Parker got his hood by wrestling it off a demon. This is a reference to Hood's comics history, where Parker did indeed get his magical hood from a demon-like villain that gradually came to possess him.
Invisibility, bending bullets.
The hell?
Do not touch the damn hood! And y'all sitting here watching?
The powers of the hood come straight from the comics, with the red hood allowing him to turn invisible when he holds his breath and fire curved bullets from his twin pistols. John's anger is immediate, but Parker's later calmness is creepier. The way he describes the hood sounds less like empowerment and more like obsession. Parker introduces the next heist, targeting Heirloom, a biotech firm whose innovations are destroying small farming communities. Just like with Tunnel, this isn't random. Parker is choosing corporations that represent modern systems of oppression. But Riri is struggling. She confesses that helping Parker makes her feel like a bad person. Parker brushes it off with something every villain believes at some point.
Anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done. Before my hood, I was a nobody. But with it, maybe a little unsavory, but yeah, I'm unstoppable.
This is the heart of Parker's worldview. Greatness requires sacrifice. He is trying to mold Riri into someone like him, but she's not built that way, at least not yet. Back home, Natalie pressures Riri to upgrade the suit so she can operate without being tethered to it. It's subtle but important. This AI wants to become more independent. Meanwhile, Riri learns that Rampage has been killed, and she smells something off. She suspects Parker and decides to secretly take a piece of his enchanted hood to figure out what's really going on. But for that, she needs help. So she turns to Joe. When Riri finds Joe injured in his lab, looking for medical supplies, she discovers the ashes of Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane, COO of Stark Industries, BFF to Howard Stark, mentor to Tony Stark, died in that horrible plane crash. That Stane?
Joe reveals his real name is Ezekiel Stane, the son of the man who tried to kill Iron Man. Zeke doesn't want to be like his father, and neither does Riri. But both of them are inheriting trauma. Zeke from Obadiah's greed and ambition. Riri from Gary, who admired Stark's selflessness. During the heirloom job, Riri lets Natalie pilot the suit while she sneaks into Parker's negotiation with CEO Hunter Mason. Her goal is to cut a piece of the hood without him noticing. The moment she cuts the hood, the system detects tampering and triggers a lockdown. Carbon dioxide floods the room. As the team escapes, Riri runs into John. He sees the piece of the hood and thinks she's betrayed Parker. In the confrontation, he confesses that he killed Rampage. They fight is brutal, and in the end, Natalie saves Riri but leaves John to die.
Riri! Open the door! Open the damn door, Riri!
Okay.
Nobody is truly evil here. Just scared, desperate, and misguided. Riri rushes home. She starts panicking, realizing she left the biomesh skin near John's body, a mistake that could expose her. Riri's struggle with panic attacks is a key parallel to Tony Stark himself, who also struggled with panic attacks after the events of the 2012's Avengers. At the end of episode 3, Parker is yelling to some off-screen ethereal force or presence, showing him that John was killed after he was left at Heirloom by Riri. This is most likely the being who gave Parker his hood. It could be the Dark Dimension's Dormammu as established in Marvel Comics. However, perhaps the MCU intends to go in a different direction, like with Mephisto. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.